After building over 100 home studios for entrepreneurs and business owners, I've discovered that when you take your studio from looking like this to looking like this, you finally get more followers and make more sales too. So in this video, I'm going to show you the 5 simple upgrades that will make your studio look epic, that will raise your credibility, make more money, and increase your following. And the first upgrade works like this. So take a look at these 2 clips. Which clip do you think looks more professional? Which one seems more amateur? Now, what if I told you that both of those clips were filmed with the same camera at the same time of the day with the same exact background? Yeah, exactly. So what do you think is the one difference between these studios? Well, it all has to do with, one single thing. Lighting. Because the crazy part is that you don't need to spend thousands of dollars on fancy cameras, new lenses, or hiring expensive team members. If you want to instantly get a pro setup, there are 3 simple changes you can make to your lighting that can take your setup from this to this. Like I did with one of my clients, Nyla. And the first lighting upgrade works like this. 99% of studio advice out there tells you that you need to use natural light to get that beautiful studio look. That's basically the light that comes in from your window or from outdoor. Because the problem is that you can't control when the clouds pass by or when the sun actually appears. So the first thing you need to do when lighting your studio is simply blocking any source of natural light. This could be as simple as closing the blinds or curtains, or you can cover any windows with something like black bin trash bags, like I do in a few of my studios because I travel around the world all the time and I need to have an easy and cost-effective solution. Now, to show you how this next lighting upgrade works, take a look at these 2 scenes, which are lit with the exact same light. Why do you think one looks cinematic whilst the other one looks like it's straight out of a home movie filmed on a camcorder back in the 90s? Well, it's because scene number 1 uses something called diffused light, which smooths out any imperfection on your face, makes your setup seem professional, and raises your authority as a business owner. So the easiest way to achieve this diffused light look is by investing in something called a softbox. You can get these for anywhere between 50 and 80 bucks, and they're small, compact, and allow you to get consistent lighting setups every time you film with flattering lighting. And this brings me on to the 3rd simple lighting trick to improve your studio. Now, if you take a look at my studio setup right now, you might be surprised to see how close my light is to my face. In fact, it's about an arm length away, actually less than that. Now, the mistake you want to avoid here is thinking that your light needs to illuminate the entire room, because look what happens when you pull this light further away from me. In this comparison, you can see that I'm using the same exact light, but one is close and one is actually farther away. And as you can see, the one farther away looks actually harsher, hence not really flattering. So one quick fix is to just make sure that your light is positioned close to you, as close as possible, just out of frame, possibly no more than an arm's length away. You also want to put this light at 45 degrees angle off to the side, like I have it right now here. That way you get one side of your face that is a little bit more illuminated and the other one that is a little bit darker, and then kind of like creating that cinematic look that top creators and entrepreneurs use. But at this point, after you have achieved a cinematic look with your lighting, there's actually one part of your setup that is the most critical to get right if you want to come across as credible and grow on social media. And it works like this. Now, if you went out and spent $5,000 on a new guitar, but you plugged it into a $40 amp you found on Craigslist, how do you think this would sound? Probably pretty bad, right? But if you plug that guitar into a 2K Marshall amp, you're going to be ready for that Coldplay gig in no time. Well, this is exactly the problem most entrepreneurs run into when they build their own studios. They'll drop thousands on camera and lens, but then spend $10 on a crappy mic from Amazon and wonder why their content gets no views and their bank account looks empty. So if you want to achieve that pro studio setup, it turns out your audio is actually more important than your video quality. And there is one quick fix you can make to your audio to achieve that professional level video quality. This is having the mic as close as possible to your mouth. And I'm talking inches, not feet. But the question is, okay, what mic should you buy then? Well, generally you have 2 options. a wireless lavalier mic that clips into your shirt, or a podcast style microphone that sits right in front of you, just exactly like the one that I have here. And I mean, there are technically other options, but I think these two cover 99.9% of the cases. Both work, but what matters is the proximity to your mouth. This is literally everything. It's so important. The further away your microphone is from your mouth, the more room noise it gets picked up. Whereas when I get it very close, suddenly you sound like a professional broadcaster instead of someone recording in their garage. If I need to move around, I use a simple wireless system. DJI and Hollyland are the best brands for these, and any model would work. If I'm sitting in a home studio context like this and I just need to do a talking head, I use a podcast mic like the Shure MV7 Plus that you see right here, because it allows me to connect the USB-C directly to my laptop rather than using an XLR cable, making it extremely flexible and easy to connect, while still maintaining a super high quality audio, as you can hear. When your audio is crisp and clear, people trust you more. They stay longer, they buy more. But you need to be careful, because this next step is where most creators completely mess up. They think lighting themselves is enough, and maybe the key light will illuminate also the background. Wrong. Your background is a completely separate element that needs its own lighting strategy. First, you light yourself with that key light that we just talked about. Then, this is crucial, you light your background separately. Think about it like this. You are the star of the show, but your background is the stage. A dull, boring stage makes even the best performer look amateur. Sure, your charisma and energy can help. If you're really famous already, you might not need a special background. But if you're starting out or you want to build your personal brand, a well-lit, intentional background will make you look like you have $1 million production team. And this is the same reason why podcast studios and big creators like Diary of a CEO, Chris Williamson, and others look so good. They have designers to design and illuminate their studio, which is completely separated from actually lighting yourself. Remember the star of the show and the stage example. You can't create a Broadway musical with only actors. You need everything that there is behind them to achieve a stunning result. I see creators all the time sitting in front of plain white walls or messy bedrooms, and then they're wondering why they cannot build authority. Meanwhile, the top creators understand this secret. Your background communicates your professionalism before you even say a word. But here's the interesting part. You don't need to spend thousands on fancy studio equipment. You just need to understand visual balance. Visual balance means that if you have something on one side of your frame, you need to have something on the other side too to balance it out. Maybe they can be different elements, but they need to be kind of comparable in size. A plant here, then okay, put another lamp on the other side. Maybe you have a bookshelf on one side, then put maybe two other elements that are separated on the other side. Our eyes crave symmetry. And when your background feels balanced, viewers subconsciously trust you more. And it's important to look for something that can create interest and movement in the background. I love having textured backgrounds. Plain walls are the enemy of professional content. They're flat, boring, and scream, "I'm filming from my spare bedroom." Maybe wallpaper, curtains, textured paint, and even just one light from behind you, suddenly everything has depth at Carter. I've transformed ugly spaces using $12 wallpaper from the hardware store. I've used curtains, wood panels, or even colored paper taped to the wall. And I teach everything inside my home studio blueprint, which is a step-by-step course where I show you how to create an epic studio in your own room. And if you're interested, you can join using the link down below in the description. The key is breaking up that flat, lifeless surface behind you. And in this studio, for example, I used roof panels that cost me $12. And with 3 of them, they created an amazing texture in the background that complements the light that I used. Then I did the same thing for another studio for a client. I used the same roof panels and he absolutely loved the final result. It literally took us 1 hour to build.
Everything I bought in this room cost less than $120, which I am still stunned about, and I cannot believe it happened. If you're interested in creating video content and are not sure where to start in terms of setting up a studio, I highly recommend reaching out to Simone and Home Studio Blueprint right away.
Remember, people judge you in the first 3 seconds. Your background is working for you or against you. There's no neutral. So try to make it work for you. When you combine proper background lighting with visual balance and texture, you create an environment that says this person is successful, trustworthy, and worth listening to. And that's exactly the impression you want to make. But this will not happen if you don't stop using your webcam. I don't care if it's built in your $4,000 MacBook Pro. Webcams make everyone look like they're recording a random video from their basement. The image is flat, lifeless, and screams, I don't take you seriously because I can't be bothered to build a proper studio. You don't need to spend $5,000 on a cinema camera to look professional. Your phone is probably better than most webcams, and unless it's 10 years old, chances are by simply linking it with the cable to your laptop, you will be able to use it directly as a webcam. But if you want to really stand out, invest in a proper camera. I recently bought a Sony ZV-E10 for one of my clients, a dentist who wanted to create content to attract high-end patients and sell his courses. It cost $650. The result, his videos now look like they were shot by a professional production company. And he's booking consultations with clients who are willing to pay premium prices. Why? Well, because when you look professional, people assume you are professional. But even if you buy a camera, what are the settings you need to use? Because I know that these could create a lot of friction. Well, first of all, you want to use the lowest aperture possible. I'm talking f1.2, f1.8, f2.8, and this really depends on your lens. So try to go as low as possible because this creates what's called depth of field, but your background is beautifully blurred. The single setting makes you pop off the screen and creates that cinematic look you see in high-end productions. It's the difference between looking like a beginner YouTuber and looking like a Netflix documentary subject. Because yes, with just one camera, one light, and a properly designed background, I can literally recreate Netflix quality footage in my garage. See it with your eyes right now. One is from Netflix, Drive to Survive. The other one is from me in my garage. And if you want to learn how to look epic on camera in any room of your house, feel free to check out the Home Studio Blueprint and join over 2,000 entrepreneurs inside. The link is in the description. And in case you want me to design your own studio, I also offer a done-for-you service. Now, if you apply all these first 4 steps, you'll be already ahead of 99% of creators. But there's one last thing that actually changed my life as a content creator. It's my secret weapon that not many people know about. And it's the exact reason why you're still watching this video right now. When speaking in front of the camera, most creators wing it, stumble through their content, say 50 times, and lose their audience within the first minute because they just rumble. Meanwhile, I can deliver perfectly scripted content while looking directly into your eyes the entire time. How can I do that? Well, I'm reading every single word from a teleprompter. And trust me, being able to deliver the exact message without even wasting a single word would make a huge difference in your sales. Especially in today's world that is full of noise, you want to grab people's attention fast and keep them engaged by delivering constant value without wasting their precious time. This isn't just about reading scripts, though alone this will save you hours of re-recording. The real game changer is what this does for your live calls. Now, picture this. You are on a sales call with a potential client, and instead of staring at your screen like everyone else with their webcam, you're looking directly into their eyes while seeing them perfectly on your teleprompter and looking sharp as hell. They feel like you're having an intimate conversation with a true expert, a person that cares about his image, even though you're on Zoom. And I guarantee you that everybody will notice and somebody will even compliment you live. And I know this because my clients tell me how amazing this feels.
I get comments on this every single day when I show up for meetings or Zoom.
First impression alone has helped me close 5-figure deals because people immediately assume that I'm a different level than my competition. I mean, nobody looks this good on calls, right? And therefore, it's just super easy to stand out. While your competitors are using their laptop webcams and staring at their screen, you're showing up like you have a professional film crew. It's an unfair advantage that instantly positions you as the premium option. But now there is a problem. Even if you look and sound epic, you might still be very embarrassed to speak to your camera. So if you want to take your own camera confidence to the next level, watch this video next because I break down the 5 voice superpowers that transform me from someone who hated being on camera to someone who closed deals just by showing up. I'll see you here.